Today we're going to talk about the SoundCore Space One. Now these are over-the-ear solutions from SoundCore, a little bit different than some of the other options that they have. The biggest thing here is that we have adaptive ANC, we have LDAC support, multi-point connection so we can connect to multiple devices at the same time. But not only that, we have a lightweight body and a very long battery life that typically don't make sense. Last but not least, of course, the ability of still using a wired connection if your device supports it. This is TK and this is my review of the brand new Space One from SoundCore. Let's check it out. Like and subscribe and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified to whenever we have new videos on the channel. So here's the box. It's pretty straightforward. There is 3 colors available of this device. The one I have here obviously is the blue one. This is the SoundCore by Anchor. This is obviously what it's saying is noise cancellation up, crowd noises down. And this is the Space One. We have obviously high-res audio, wireless, as well as high-res audio connected, adaptive ANC, and up to 40 hours with active noise cancellation on, up to 55 hours with active noise cancellation turned off. Wired connection and wireless, and of course LDAC support, which gives us that high-res audio compatibility here. One of the biggest things that they've done on here is obviously change the structure of the internals so that we actually have better noise cancellation, not only from an isolation standpoint, but also from a noise cancellation processing as well as AI algorithms to be able to give us some of the best audio possible as well when we're using the 3 mics to be able to use them for phone calls or video calls, and of course touch configurations here to be able to control the audio. Now here's some of the main things here: powerful noise reduction, noise cancellation, crisp clear sound with dynamic drivers. These are the 40mm drivers that we have. Adjustable transparency and tune your world out. Worry-free battery up to 40 hours and 55. We talked about that. An ergonomic design with the new configuration as far as the ear cups that allows them to tilt. SoundCore app, of course, travel pouch, included aux cable, and as well as a USB-C cable. 3 different colors are available. We have the external speakers here, or the microphones, to be able to listen in and give us that active noise cancellation. We also have touch controls on both the right and left ear. And actually, all you have to do essentially is on the left ear cup, put your hand on, and this is the one you know that is the one with the actual wires in there. But as long as you put your hand on it, it'll activate pass-through mode, and you'll be able to talk. Once you're done with it, release it, and it goes back to active noise cancellation and whatever you were doing. As far as actual inputs in here, the only inputs that we have is on the left ear cup, USB-C to be able to charge. That's you're obviously able to use whichever one you want. And of course, the 3.5mm headphone jack input here so that you can use this with any device that uses it. I've been using it primarily with the headphone jack when it comes to laptops, because most phones now unfortunately don't have those anymore. But if your phone does support it and you want to use it, it's included in the case, and of course you can keep it with you whenever you're traveling. We have an on button and a noise cancellation button. It also works as a toggle between noise cancellation and pass-through. You can configure that in the app. An LED light, of course, to show us that we are charging. Again, the active noise cancellation tech. We have the ability of doing pause and play, and if we press and hold here when we're using our device, it'll launch the assistant. So whichever assistant is the default on your phone. So push once, pause, push one again to play, and of course answer and hang up phone calls. But if you want to be able to activate the assistant, press and hold for about 2 seconds, and the assistant on your phone will turn on. Volume rocker on the right side, again, volume up, volume down. We also have the ability of doing skip forward and skip back by press and holding for 2 seconds. So press and hold for 2 seconds when you're listening, it'll skip forward and skip back. So that means all the configuration that we need are there. Very nice, soft material, both on the top and bottom, very nice and plush. As I mentioned to you guys, the configuration on the actual ear cups, they move in all directions so they're able to actually get a better fit on your ear. This is an over-the-ear solution, which means this is not going to touch you. This is going to be basically resting on your face. Very nice and very responsive material. You see that right there. It's very good. The left ear cup is slightly different, and that's because that's where the proximity sensor is put in. The good thing about this is this allows us to actually be able to, and you can see it flickering right now because the actual earbuds or the headphones are on. This allows us to actually have the pause and play whenever we put the headphones on and take them off. So this is really nice. Again, positioned only in the left ear cup. And of course, we have the nice little mesh here. Be aware here that don't punch too much here because you're technically touching the drivers back there. So it's very nice, very good. Again, 3 different colors. And of course, you can adjust everything in here. The construction of all this, unfortunately, is pretty much plastic, but you have to keep in mind, again, the price point and the features that they're driving here. They're lightweight, and that's probably because we're not using heavy metals. But the big thing about them is when you want to configure them or just put them in the bag, they actually set up pretty nicely, very small, and they fit in the bag very easily. So you're able to basically just set them up. Also, last thing is when you're wearing them, you're also able to basically turn them on facing upwards. So if you ever want to just put them on a table, you can put them this way. The nice thing about this is there is an app support here, of course, to be able to customize your entire experience on your Space One. Again, just download the SoundCore app directly from Google Play or the Apple App Store, and you're pretty much set. We talked about the colors, we talked about the app, the gestures that we have in there, the button configuration, the playtime that we have in there. This does support Bluetooth 5.3, something to just keep in mind as far as the technology. 3 microphones with AI functionality to be able to reduce the audio when you're listening, we're actually using them in a loud environment. And actually, I'm going to give you guys a quick demo of how this actually, well, the amount of noise it's able to eliminate. Maybe that's a better way of saying it. The entire weight on this is about 9.12 ounces, very nice. And again, we can go into the app, Space One. I do have LDAC turned on right now, and that's one thing to keep in mind. When you have LDAC turned on, multi-point connection unfortunately is turned off. It drains too much power, or I'm assuming is either the processing or just the configuration is not allowed at this point. If you want high-res audio, one device at a time. If you turn off LDAC, then you have multi-point connection turned on, which is very, very nice. And again, you could definitely do that with your PC and your earbud and your headphones whenever you want. Noise cancellation, normal, and transparency. As I mentioned to you guys before, we have a button configuration here that allows us to jump between one and the other. And that's just the noise cancellation button on the left ear cup. You can change it and customize it in there. Wind noise reduction, you can turn that on as well when you're listening to an easy chat. That's going to be that one where I mentioned to you guys on the left ear cup, you put your hand on it and it turns on, and it makes it very, very easy. There is another option here where it recognizes when you're talking. The only problem with this is if you ever decide to sing with this, this will pause the music. So I typically don't turn this on, but if you want to, whenever it recognizes you talking, it will reduce the audio temporarily till you stop referring or talking at that point. We'll talk about the sound effects in a second. Controls, as I talked to you guys, we have the ability of controlling, press once, pressing twice. Pretty straightforward. And again, with the volume rocker and all of the options that you're able to do here, all of that good stuff. Press twice here. You can also turn on the bass up or bass off. You can configure that as well. Now, as far as under sound effects, there's a couple of things you need to know. The default configuration is actually really nice, but if you feel like it doesn't do it just right for you, you're able to jump into the Hear ID sound test and customize it directly to you, or even customize your own EQ. When you're looking into the actual settings and what we have, by default, there's the bass booster. The SoundCore signature is typically one of the more general profiles that everybody sticks to. Acoustic, bass, and of course, for me, I listen a little bit more to electronica music, so I wanted a little bit more on that, just kind of a nice waveform to give me good highs for the audio, well, for the spoken words, but also really good bass whenever we're listening to that. And again, you can jump into a customizer or just go do your personal EQ, and all of that will be configured correctly. Under the settings, you can see here the version firmware is 2.69. There was an update that just got pushed up this morning. And this is, again, one of the main things about them. They always update their software and make sure everything's running really good. Sound mode, you can go in there, again, as I mentioned to you guys, combine audio and connection quality. If you jump down from LDAC to basically just the standard format, it allows you to do the multi-touch or multi-connection. If you don't, unfortunately, that doesn't work. Device list, you can turn that on and it'll just give you the ability of seeing, basically seeing it does need to turn that off because it will require it to do so, but the device list will list the devices that you have connected at the same time so that you know which one it is and then which one you can give priority. Auto turn off after 60 minutes, you can customize it to be after 30, save some power. The biggest thing about this is even if you take them off and the music stops playing, the actual headphones stay on, so that's one thing to keep in mind. Voice prompt, very simple, battery alert, and of course ambient, just as when you're turning it on, you can get those. And of course, updating your firmware. As far as wearing them, pretty straightforward. There's really not much to do. You just put them on. And what I really like about them is the fact that they're over the ear and they're big enough that they actually should be able to accommodate most people's ears. You put them on, there's not really much to worry about. They're soft, they're easy. I've been able to wear them for about 4 to 5 hours at a time, no problem at all. The audio on this sounds really good. And if you're trying to have a conversation with somebody, just turn off the ANC, turn it on to pass-through mode, and you're able to have that conversation. Or as I showed you guys, just put your hand on the actual left ear cup. You hear a little bit of a chime, and then you're basically letting audio come through, and it reduces everything that's playing. Releasing it, put it back in, and then you have all the controls on the side. And also don't forget, you always have the ability of jumping into that wired connection directly into the left ear cup. To understand the level of ANC and how well this is, I have a PC behind me that runs about 10 fans. Yes, I did say 10 fans. Most of them are obviously for aesthetics, but the point of the conversation is it gets very loud in this office, especially if my door is closed. So let's go ahead and play a quick audio sample of the actual PC turned on. Now, that sound that you heard there is typically how loud my office is whenever I'm using my desktop PC. Obviously, you don't have the problem with my laptop, but these headphones are so good. They're able to eliminate the sound from there. Heck, they're even eliminating the sound directly from my AC outside in the living room. I'm able to walk around, no sound at all. Let's go outside real quick and I want to show you guys how well it's able to isolate the noise or the sound that's coming from you from the noise around you. Okay, so we went outside we're going to do a quick audio test. Right now, active noise cancellation is turned on. I am outdoors, and for the lack of a better description, I can't hear anything outside of just me talking to you guys. And actually, when I'm talking, I can feel myself, well, obviously, that there is not as much sound coming back from my mouth to my ears. So this is a good example of what it would sound like if, let's say, you were just listening or using them to make a video call with active noise cancellation off. Conversely, I just turned on transparency mode, which means I can actually start hearing myself. And actually, it is pretty nice. I can hear the birds, I can hear everything around me. The mics on this are actually pretty decent, and they did a decent job inside when I'm using them, especially when the AC is turned on in the room. It typically does cancel out anything else. And I'm hoping that it does the same, even though I can hear it, you guys should not be able to. One of the things you probably noticed there is that you couldn't hear anything around me, and that's literally the main effect of these. The AI algorithm with the 3 microphones that we have in here, which is 1 extra microphone from the previous generation, allows us to actually have a really good active noise cancellation for us so that we don't hear other people, but also that focusing experience on us so that you don't hear all of that background noise, and that basically ends up just filling in the conversation. So from that sense, it works really good. Extended wear, really, really nice. The range, again, front house all the way to the back of the house. My phone is on my desk. The range is absolutely fantastic. Bluetooth 5.3 is not going to disappoint. I think the biggest thing I probably will say is picking which color will basically be the biggest challenge that you have in here, because from an in-ear or an over-the-ear solution, SoundCore is doing a really interesting approach here with active noise cancellation. They're able to give us that premium level, I would say probably like flagship level earbuds experience at a very affordable price, and I think that's the main thing. That's why we like SoundCore. SoundCore just definitely jumps at us. Now, I will say that this is for the most part, it's again in the same family as other SoundCore earbuds or headphones. They're definitely bass forward, which means if you like bass, if you like that thumping sound experience, these are not going to disappoint. And if you tune them correctly, you'll be able to get a really good experience as far as the mids and highs. There's definitely a very specific sound profile to SoundCore. And again, if you've used them in the past and you're looking to upgrade, this is not going to disappoint. Thank you very much to SoundCore for letting me check out the Space One. And of course, if you guys would like to pick them up, just remember, the color is going to be the hardest decision you have about this. Just pick one out of the 3 and you're not going to be disappointed. Like and subscribe as usual. Thank you very much for the support, and I'll see you in the next video.